This week, Parashat Behar Bechukotai. Coming tell us that we learn Parashat Behar Bechukotai. That was Parashat Bechukotai before Shavuot, because Tichle Shana Bechukotai. We're going to learn the curses. The curses should finish up this year and the curses. Now, it's not finishing the year. We don't finish the year. The year is not beginning of the year. It's Matan Torah. The Chachamim tell us Matan Torah is it's fresh. It's fresh, refreshing the Zaman. The time becomes the renewal of the time. They will be asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the renewal of time. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should finish up the year with all of the curses. By that, Hashem spoke to Moshe Behar Sinai in the month of Sinai, B'Moshe. So interesting that over here it says Behar Sinai. Why over here Behar Sinai more than every other place? Now, Chazal tell us, now what does it talk about? When you come to the land, but when it means to this mitzvah doesn't belong to Chutz La'aretz. It's only in Israel that I give to you. The land should rest, Shabbat should rest, La Hashem. Now Rashi says, La Hashem, L'Shem Hashem. In other words, there is such a point in agriculture that's better to not to plant 1 year to enrich the land. That's not the purpose. Torah says Hashem la Hashem. This is for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just like to say by Bereshit, Shabbat Bereshit la Hashem, here also la Hashem. Now, 6 years, tis la sadcha. You shall sow your field, and tis 6 years you shall prune your vineyard. You are the owner, you do it. On 7th year, Shabbat, the complete rest shall be on the land. Shabbat la Hashem. Again, Shabbat is for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Your field, you are not allowed to sow. You can make on 1 yard, you are not allowed to prune. It's severe. What about those that they will grow by themselves? The severe will grow on its own. Your harvest, don't harvest. And the grapes that you put aside for yourself, you are not allowed to gather them in. The rest of the land should be in the land. Now, what is this rest for? For you, to eat. You just have right to eat. Now, who? You, your servant, your maidservant, your worker, and whoever resident, Hakarim that dwell with you, everybody is equal. There is no ownership on this here. All nationwide, everybody could use any land, anything. No ownership. And also for your behemoth, for your animals, and the beast that is your right here, all of its fruit should be for eating. Eating all of the nationwide, there is no year of no ownership. Chachamim tell us the point of that is to understand that we don't own things. Because once we feel things belongs to us, and we feel so belonging, attached to it, that we feel the owner. We want to, we feel that we captured, we are the owner, it belongs to us. Now, 1 year, you don't do anything to show that belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whatever that comes out from a person belongs to Hashem. And by the way, that's the greatest test for human beings. And especially, the Midrash says, those who keep Shemitah, they are like Malachim. Why? Because every day, daily basis, imagine somebody has 10 children, and that's the only way that he could afford his family. And every morning he comes and says the field is not doing anything. Because he say, what am I going to do this year? What's going to happen to me? Every year, daily basis. And that's the greatest of a person. The greatest of a person is not to the Ahadat Yitzchak. Everybody could capture himself in one moment to do something very special and great. But to do something daily basis, that is the truth. Now, why say Behar Sinai? Now, Behar Sinai says, because Rashi says that the Parashat of Shemitah was not repeated in Sefer Devarim. Sefer Devarim, everything was repeated. But there is no Shemitah in Sefer Devarim. Everything was said not by Moshe Rabbeinu, who was repeating, was said in Ohel Moed by Har Sinai. It was just like Shemitah, all of the Dichdukim and everything was said from Har Sinai, which I decided that all of the Torah Kula was said by Har Sinai. That's why over here Torah says by Har Sinai. Now, what's the semichot of the parashiyot? Always explained in the parashiyot. The last parashiyot talked about cursing Hashem. Somebody cares, and they didn't know what's the halacha. And they have to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says stone it. Now, it sounds that not everything was given in Har Sinai. But Yonatan ben Uziel explains over here that really Moshe Rabbeinu knew that he should put to death. But Moshe Rabbeinu said, I don't know why. To teach the judges, they should not feel bad to say, I don't know. They say, even Moshe Rabbeinu said, I don't know. You say, I don't know. Therefore, you don't feel bad. To be sure, that's the most important, crucial point for a judge is to be humble. That teaches to be humble. 4 times in Torah happened that Moshe Rabbeinu said, I don't know. Rabbi says all 4 cases are different cases of one Nefashot, one monetary, one Yerusha. To tell that you could be monetary, you don't know. Therefore, the judge should feel free to say, I don't know, when he doesn't know. Now, it's very interesting that cursing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chas Shalom, is one of the Lotus Hashem Yochal Hashem, one of the 10 commandments is that don't speak in the name of Hashem. It's such a chamur dikavera. And this sin doesn't belong to a place. It's not for a special place and a special time. It's forever. No, that mitzvah, it sounded that they didn't know. No, if that great mitzvah with the great consequence that doesn't limit it by the time and by the place, they didn't know. Shemitah, that's limited by the makom, by the zaman, by the place, and everything just for Israel. That kol sheken, they wouldn't know. But Torah says, no, don't make a mistake. That over there was a special reason that Moshe Rabbeinu said, I don't know. But Shemitah, all of the dichturim, all of the hilchot was said from Har Sinai. He was comparing these 2 notes together. Now, Pasachet b'Safrat Alecha, you should count for the 7 Shabbatot Shanim, 7th year, Sheva Shanim, 7 years, 7 times. Va'ulecha should be Yemei Sheva Shabbatot Shanim, the 7 years of Shanim, Teshav 49 years. And you shall sound the shofar teruah, broken blast, on the 7th month. If you notice, shofar teruah b'chodesh hashavi, the Rashi Tevot becomes teshuvah. Shofar teruah b'chodesh hashavi. They were blowing up the shofar, so it's teshuvah. But also the chodesh on the 10th of the month. What is that? Yom Kippur. You should sound shofar all of your land. Now, why? You know that Rosh Hashanah we have to do that shofar. Why do you have to do that shofar on Yom Kippur? Yes, it's Yom Kippur. Why? Because you should make holy the 50th year, and you should call freedom in the land. For all of those who live on it, Yovel, that's Yovel. For you. Now, therefore, this year, 50th year, is the Yovel, and the Yovel is Kadosh. Therefore, here Torah tells us to count 7, 7, 49, and 50th becomes Kadosh. Know that, of course, we understand that the world was created based on 7, means there are 7 stages in the world, and to get to completion, every stage works with another stage. That's the Flat Omer. You have 7 midot, and every midot combines another midot. The completion of everything is 49, 50th becomes Kadosh. Therefore, there is this cycle of 50th that shows the completion in one level, and then we're going to go to another level, Life of a Jew, in other words, the Torah is telling us life of a Jew is a cycle of 50. Cycle of 50 means every day we have to work on something. Every year we work on something. Purpose of life is growth to get to Yovel. Now Rashi says, what's Yovel? What does Yovel mean? Rashi says, Yovel, Shonasu Muftele Bishar Shonim, Levat Shem Lo Levado, Uma Shema Yovel Shema, Al Shem Techiat Shofar. In other words, Yovel means designated year. Now, what's the point of this year? Techiat Shofar. What is Techiat Shofar for? For Teshuvah, for awakening. In other words, the person works 49 years. He becomes so attached, passionate, materialistic to his cycle of life, the way that the life is taking him. Now, Yovel is Kadosh on that year, just like Shabbat takes us out of the space of the world and let us think and get back to ourselves. In the years also, 49 years, in 1 year to get to ourselves, the Techiat Shofar makes it to awaken us to understand that's what's the purpose of life. In other words, that's what HaKadosh says, life is like a toy. So what does it mean? Zohar says toy. What does it mean? I was created the word. What does it mean toy? In other words, toy. In other words, life is a toy. Depends on who plays with whom. In other words, we let the society and the life to play with you to make a toy out of you. And you're going to follow whatever that society and destination takes you, then you gotta be toy for life, and life takes you. Or no, you're gonna use life as a toy to grow. 49, 50 years, sign of growth. We use life to grow. We don't let ourselves to become a toy of society and destination and just making us go on a wheel of life and go around. No, we use life as a toy for growth, to get yoga, to get coverage, to become kedusha. And that all depends on the perspective of the person. All depends on the person. Person could become a toy or use the word to become a toy for him. Person could say, anytime that happens, I can't do the mitzvah because the society, because my work, because my job, because my things, I cannot do the mitzvah, I cannot be over Hashem properly. Or a person would tell himself, all of the world is here that I should keep this mitzvah. I shouldn't keep it. Of course I can't keep it. I'm going to find a way to do it and keep it. And that is the lesson of Yovel and Kedusha. Now, what happens? And we will return a man to his achuzah, to his heritage, because all of the land goes back, and the person goes back to his family. Person that was sold, with every that was sold, then it goes back, even nirsa, even if they pierce the ears, it goes back. Yovel, 50th year, you do not sow and you not harvest, etc. Grown on their own, and you should not gather the nesira, what was aside for yourself. Because Yovel Kodesh Lachem is holy, Minasade from the Sade, Tochrushidi Tevata, all of the crops, the year of Yovel, Tashubu could buy each everybody to his heritage. Now Torah says, all of a sudden, Torah talks about selling. When you sell things, you should sell to a Jew. It's very good to not, if you have a choice of selling it to a goy, sell it to a Jew. Or if you buy the Avraham, Al Tonu Ishlachi. Torah says, now in the midst of Shemitah, Torah says, Al Tonu. What does Tonu mean? Don't defraud one his brother. Now, whenever that you have a monetary transaction, be very careful not to cheat somebody else. So that comes in the midst of Shemitah, because we need the emunah of Shemitah not to cheat. The year, according to the number of the years, after Yovel Tikkun, you should buy from your floor, the mispar with the numbers of the years of the crops should be sold to you. According to the majority of the years, increase the purchase, and according to the lesser number of the years, you should decrease the price to mispar, because the numbers of the crops who would sell it to you. And the person should not cause pain for his fellow Jew. Now there are two lotono here. One lotono is monetary, one lotono means not to cause pain, even verbal. Any act that the person does that it causes pain for somebody else, in Torah is also. We are very much accustomed to know that pig is also to eat. Shabbat is also to mechaleh, not to wear shatnez. But Torah is telling us, be very careful, any word or any act that you do, that the other person would cause him pain. Let's say somebody's talking to you, you just go with your hand like this. You don't pay attention to him. You feel like, I'm not, who are you that I talk to you? If you call him pain, cause him pain, that's over the law in Torah. Just like when we eat something, we have to make sure that's kosher, whatever that comes out of our mouth, also we have to make it kosher. And Chazal tell us, eating, okay, you do teshuvah, but when you talk, a lot of times, you injure a person. Shachud l'shonam Navi says. The lashon, the tongue, is like an arrow. It kills. Now, this arrow is much worse than regular arrow. Regular arrow, you see the blood, you stop, you see the consequence. This one you don't see. With your tongue, with the way that you talk, you annoy somebody, you make him paralyzed. By the way, Baal Teshuvah is giving to Shur, very nice, exciting Shur. After the Shur, you say, who are you? After a few years ago, you were dancing, you were eating pig. Now you get up on podium, but you see somebody sick, very sick. You go and tell him, Hashem is fair. Hashem is fair. Or somebody is on the street and you got nothing to do, and you feel, oh, there's a store here. You go to the store and you give headache to the owner of the store and you don't buy anything. You're not intending to buy anything. Just give him headache. Or somebody wants to buy something, oh, very nice joke. You send him someplace that they don't have that thing. And then they tell you what? It's a joking. Now you have to understand a lot of times, joke is a love in Torah. Person will be over. And such a beautiful love, especially in the family. Husband to wife, wife to husband, have to be very careful with our language. Any word that comes that causes pain, husband to wife. Well, that's why Shulchan Aruch usually doesn't talk about Musar. But Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat went out of his way to say to the husband, very careful not to be over disturbed with your wife. Because if you are over, then the wife are very emotional and they have tears and they might say something and something happens. And Chinuch says over here, when you cause pain to somebody, at the time of the pain, he says, Hashem, see what he did to me. This word could be destructive for a person. A person has to be very careful. On the contrary, when you do help people and somebody from the full heart gives you a bracha, that blessing works. You should be afraid of Hashem. No, why say afraid of Hashem for any Avera? Why over here more? Because over here you could justify. You say, oh, I didn't know that you would be bothered. I didn't know. He says, no, Hashem knows that you knew. Because I'm Hashem your God. But I see them, you should do my decrees and my judgment, watch them and do them. When you do them, you're going to stay on the land, they will have security. Security is the most important thing. And the land would give its fruit and you're going to eat, going to be satisfied. Now, the world, a lot of people can't eat. Some people eat, they can't get satisfied. Here it says you're going to eat satisfied. You shove them and you're going to dwell securely in Amin. And if you say, now, after saying all of the parasha of Shemitah, Torah says, if you get up and say, Manuchal, what should be Bashon HaShevit on 7th year? It says, V'chit Tomru. It's very interesting. It doesn't say, if you ask. V'chit Tomru. What's the difference between saying or asking? You know what's the difference? Asking means you want to find out the truth. Saying, you're not interested to find the answer. You just want to say it because that justifies your life. Once somebody came to a rabbi and says, Rabbi, I have 5 questions for you. If you answer 5 questions, I do everything in Torah. Rabbi said, wow, such a beautiful customer today. Baruch Hashem gave a little bit secha to this rabbi. And the rabbi said, okay, you could ask me 5 questions, I asked you 1 question. Good, it's good. Yes, of course. So, okay, I start the question. My first question from you is, these 5 questions are questions or answers? If they are answered, I can't do anything for you, I'm sorry. But if they are question means you are seeking for truth, searching truth, then I could help you. The Chitomru means people just say, Tengon Israel, we didn't plant, we didn't gather our tubatenu. No, Hashem says, if you say that, what am I going to do? I command my bracha, my blessing for you. Very interesting portion. Usually Torah says, I'm mevarech you. Yevarecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Hashem blesses. He doesn't say Hashem blesses. Hashem commands his blessing to you on the 6th year, and you will do tevuah across for 3 years, and you're going to plant sow the Hashanah on the 8th year, and you're going to eat from the crops. Yashon, the old one, till 9th year, till the tevuah, Toch Yashon, you're going to eat from the old one. Therefore, Torah is saying that I will give. Now, Persian say, why do you say V'chit Tomru? Torah should have said, see, you keep the mitzvah, I give you bracha 3 times tevuah. Now, the Persian bring out the very important, fundamental point in Torah that's very much related to our daily life. All of us, we love blessing, we love bracha. Now, we have to understand there are 2 types of blessing in life. One blessing in quantity, one blessing in quality. Now, Torah says, keep Shemitah. And Rashi says, if you do that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mevarech the food in your stomach. In other words, you're going to eat that a little bit, and that little bit would satisfy you. No, what about if you don't have emunah and faith to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to realize that? I have to see with my own eyes, I have to see. Hashem says, okay, you ask question, you question the faith, and you want to see it, Hashem says, okay, I make everything 3 times. Now, don't forget, Make things 3 times means you have to work as hard as 3 times. You have to harvest, you have to silo, you have to grind it, you have to do everything. But the Beracha of Hashem, the real Beracha for those that they have a full faith, is just 1 year tevuah. But 1 year tevuah, 1 year crop would help you to eat for 3 years. And what's the difference? The difference is you're going to have more time for Torah, more time to buy your everlasting. What's the purpose of life? The purpose of life is not just to be busy and work and work. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying already, the mitzvah of Shemitah is telling you how to use life. How to use life. Shemitah says life is a cycle of 50. 50 has to be with growth. Every year growth. And 50 years to get to a point that, to be able to use a year is Kiddush Avitah. Somebody comes on Yom Kippur in the shul and says, I'm getting bored, I'm frustrated. I want to go and help. I help nursing homes. Why should I stay here and waste my time? I go. And he goes and he helps nursing homes. And it is so great. And he comes to the shul and says, people, you wasted your time. I used this day, Yom Kippur, and I had a lot of older people to know. It's a great mistake. What's the mistake? That's the whole point of Shemitah. See, Yom Kippur is the day that you deal with yourself. You plan out how the year should be spent. Now, somebody has a plan for the year how to spend. He cannot deal with himself. He's a corrupted person. He cannot fix up himself. Yom Kippur is suffering for him. It's a boring day. What should I do? Instead of dealing with myself and fixing up the year should be full of chesed, full of kindness. What does he do? He gets busy on Yom Kippur. He doesn't do anything to do chesed here and there, and he goes back to his corruption and the year that he has. Oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, there is a day that you have to learn how to deal with yourself, to plan out yourself, and say, what's the purpose of life? What am I doing? There were 1 year you plan to use 364 days better. That's the purpose of Shemitah, Yovel, Shabbat, all of them the same line. All of them, Torah says, don't do melachot, don't do things, because you have to deal with yourself. In other words, I met somebody that 4 cell phones, and I told him, why do you have 4 cell phones? One is for family, one is for friends, one is for that business, one is for the other business, and 4 cell phones. I saw at the time that was two of them went on at the same time. So I told him that, see, I don't know you so well, but I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you on Sunday. So what happened to you? So I tell you, on Sunday, what happens to you is like this. You don't go to work. Your wife makes you not to work, you don't go to work. But what happens to you? You can't sit down. You go from one room to another room. You go someplace, you can't sit down, you have to get up. You go to park with your children, you can't spend time with them. It's exactly what you said. Why is it like that? I wonder. Why you wonder? You are not in touch with yourself. All of the image that you have from yourself is your job. What is it that you do? There were once we take that from you. You are not a human being anymore. You lost yourself. You're so busy, mind so busy. Everything is so your job. Therefore, you lost yourself. It's very simple. Therefore, Torah is giving us Shabbat, Shemitah, Yovel. Get back to yourself. Build up yourself. Try to understand yourself. There is no jobs, but you exist. That's Shabbat. See if you could do that. There is no business, there is no phone calls, nothing, but you exist as a person. Therefore, maintain that during the week, maintain that during the year. Not that what you do during the year and what involvement you have to apply to Shabbat and Shemitah. That's the purpose of the Shemitah. What is it now? Torah says the land should not be sold with Shemitut forever, because the land belongs to me. No, the Levychaim who wants to maintain Shabbatim, every Shabbat and Shabbat to be in the land that you are. Because you are alien with Shavim and residents, you are with me. All of the lands outside, redemption should begin with that. When your brother becomes poor, and he sells from his heritage, no. Rashi is going to explain later on, all of these parashut are connected to each other. We are talking about Shemitah. Somebody doesn't keep Shemitah, then he sells his metaltelim, he sells his vessels and utensils, and if he does teshuvah, he does teshuvah. If he doesn't teshuvah, then he has to sell his sodeh. He would sell his sodeh, whenever that he sells his sodeh, redeemer closest to him should come and redeem the sale of his brother, and somebody doesn't have a redeemer, if he could afford it, and he could afford it, and he found sufficient means to redeem it, and he would calculate the years of the selling, and he returns back the remainder to the man that he sold it to him, to increase heritage. Because it could not afford, it should be at the end of the buyer until Yovel. That's all. Yovel goes up, goes back to his land. Because every land at that time was all given to Kahal Israel, every land has the potential of that people. Therefore, that Shevet, the Baruch Hu wants every Shevet and Shevet to be on the land that they are, not to be in the land that they are, not to lose the land. No, Torah says, first he sells the son. Now, if he does teshuvah, well, if he doesn't do teshuvah, then he would come and sell his house. So whatever that happens to a person has to make calculation what I went wrong and do teshuvah. Because the Rambam says, if a person doesn't do teshuvah for something that happened to him, it's cruel because it makes more punishment. Now he would say, he would sell the house of residence that he has in the city that has this world. 1 year mimkaro. 1 year you could redeem. If he doesn't redeem it till completion of the year, and the house would get established to him forever. We will not go out with you. Because the people that they live in the place that they live, in 1 year they would like to move. After 1 year they get Batei Hazan. Now the houses of the open towns that doesn't have wall around, I'll say they are next to the field of the Rashi will be considered, the same as the study would be considered. Goes on. And the cities of the Levim that I'm sure gave to the Levim, the houses of the cities of Levim, Geula forever should be for Levim, whatever that you buy from the Levim, and the sales of the house will be by Yovel, that's their heritage under Israel, and the fields of the open land of their cities, because heritage forever is for Levim, we should keep it. Therefore, it's very important in this segment of the community to maintain the welfare of each segment and segment. That's the point that Torah is making. Now, he sells his house. If he does teshuvah, it's the one that didn't keep Shemitah and goes further and further. Now, finally, he sold his house. Now, if he does teshuvah, he goes back. I was give him it. But if he doesn't go back, he becomes so poor, and faltered. That's his means of support with you. You should strengthen him. In other words, before that he falls down, help him. Somebody was falling down. I told somebody, go and help him. He said, no, that's not the way. I let him fall down and then I help him. I said, why? Before falling down, help him. He said, no, if I help him now, he doesn't realize that I did it. But I want to complete to go down and then help him that he should understand that I helped him out. I made him. The job, but Torah says not like that. Torah says, before that he falls, help him. Give it to Shav, prostites and to Shav and resident, and he should live with you. Why? Because once he falls, it's much harder to wake him up. No. Therefore, if he doesn't do teshuvah, what does he do? He doesn't have money. He has to come and borrow money with interest. He would be over the law in Torah that's also to borrow money with interest. Don't take from him interest with Harvit and illegal increase. You should be afraid of Hashem. And your brother should live with you. No, there is the issue in Torah. Your money, you are not allowed to give interest. What's interest? If you lend somebody $1,000, it's also to charge him more than $1,000. No, this halakha is not only for money. This halacha applies to everything that you give and you take something else. Oh, not that like eggs. You give eggs, half a dozen, and you take dozen. Or you give somebody 10 gold coin and get 11. Anything that they give you something else. If you give your car to somebody and say, okay, you have my car, and after 6 months, give me a car and $1,000. You could do that. Because he returns back the same car. For the car, there's a wear and tear. You charge him for wear and tear, that's okay. But if he returns back something else to you, like money, like food, like gold coin, like anything like that, it's also. Torah says, about the illegal increase, you should not give your food. I'm ashamed that you two are Messiah to give you the land as the land, to be for you as a God. No, if he does teshuvah at this stage, he did teshuvah. But if he doesn't teshuvah, he becomes poor, more poor. Within Allah, he would sell himself to you. Who is that? A very rich person that didn't keep Shemitah. Little by little, he lost all of his money. He would say, no, Torah says, when he told you, about that offer. A Jew cannot give the slavery job to another Jew. Let's say, tie my shoes or come after the bathe me, or trouble me. Whatever that is this job of a slave, you are not allowed to give it to another Jew. Like a worker, hired worker or resident should be with you, till Shnadayover should work with you, and he goes out, who Banavimo? His wife and his children. Now, what do you mean his wife and children? Because when you get the Eved Ivri, you are obligated to feed his wife and children. And he goes back to his family with outside of talk to the heritage of his father, he goes back. Because they are my slave, that I took them on society, it cannot be sold like the selling of the Eved. In other words, they would go to a square town and they would put up Eved for sale for the Eved Kirani, but Eved Ivri should not be like that. You have to be careful not to disrespect him. You should not subjugate him to do hard labor. You have to be very careful not to give him hard labor. You should be afraid of Hashem. You say, oh, I didn't know this and that. Hashem knows. No, you're the slave and your maidservant that should work for you. No, you're going to tell me that if I cannot subjugate the Jew, what should I do? Torah says, slave and maidservant that should for you from the Goyim, from the nations that's around you, from them you buy slave and maidservant. And also from those who residents at Golim that live with you, from them you could buy. Mushpachta, from the families that if you are with you, I should that they give birth in your land, but should be for you, the achuzah, as heritage property, and you could have them, you could own them, and you should inherit them to their children after you to possess achuzah property. If you have a Kinani, it has to stay with Kinani forever. You are not allowed to redeem him. But rather to say, do not subjugate him through hard labor. No, what about now he sold himself? He didn't do teshuvah. Now what's going to happen? However, did all of the things for him to do teshuvah. Still, he doesn't reach the greedy person and says, now Torah says that's the yad. When a girl, somebody, a lion that lives with you, he could afford, and you're going to become poor. And he would sell himself to that stranger, that the goy, that lives with you. That's the second stage. You're going to sell yourself to the goy. At that time, you have to ask yourself, why have I doing that? How come I lost everything? Because you didn't listen to Shemitah. You didn't show your faith how much worth it. Now, if he does teshuvah, Hashem puts him back. If he doesn't do teshuvah, then what happens? What's the last station? He would sell himself to idol, not to worship idol. What does he sell himself? To cut the wood or draw water for idol. That's the last station. Therefore, he would come, a Jew, to sell himself to work for an idol. Now, Hashem said, after that he sold, redemption should be for him. One of the brothers, Galenu, should redeem him. Ododo, his uncle, Oben Dodo, but the son is uncle, you redeem him. Should not see another Jew is dead. This Pasha is Pasha of Achraya. We are responsible for other Jews, especially for our relatives. Or Mishal Besoro from all close relatives, from his family to redeem him. Or he would find sufficient funds to redeem himself. Now we should calculate with the one who bought it from the years that it was sold till Yove, and the money of his sale, according to the years, like the years of the Sahir worker should be with you. there are more years according to him should be given God. But in other words, now that he bought him, don't cheat him. You cannot cheat a goy. That would be Chilul Hashem Torah says. I calculate the years I'm paying. In the living, you can calculate according to the years. You should write like a worker of Shana. You should be him. Our Torah says, no, don't let that guy subjugate him through hard work, and you see, and you don't do anything. You are responsible. Torah is saying it's partial responsibility of Jew and other Jew. You cannot see that he's hard working, and even though that he was a Russia, that happened to him because of that. That's the Cheshbon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There was somebody that's told him that, he's taking suffering. Somebody said, don't worry about him. He was such a big Russia. What do you mean? It's not our job to decide. We are not judged here. We are mayor on the town. In other words, you see a Jew is in pain, you have to do something about it. You can't say that he deserves it. What do you mean he deserves it? No, you didn't be fair. Torah says that happened to him because of his sin. Torah says Mefurash. All of the connection of the parashah is the Russia. It happened to him. But Torah says, no, you didn't be fair. It's also for you to see and don't do anything. You have to get up and do something. If you've done redeemed with disease, you should go up there him and his fun of everything. Why? Because when Israel are enslaved, they are my slave that I took them out of Israel, and they are my slave, not a slave for a slave. Therefore, we have to go and save him. Now, very interesting. The parashut, all of them to us is connected. In other words, the person 15 years ago, he didn't keep Shemitah. What happened? First, Avraham made him to lose a little money. He has to sell some of his jewelry. He sold his jewelry. He says, it's happening. Everybody's like that. He doesn't do Teshuvah. Then Avraham makes him more poor. Then he has to sell his field. Then, if he does Teshuvah. If he not, then it's houses. Then he rebuilds. Borrow money with rebuilds and adds together. Then he sells himself to a Jew. Then he sells to himself to a goy. Last station is he sells himself to Avodah Zarah. Unfortunately, say, why is the last station? Could have worse than that also. Because the punishment of Torah is not taking revenge. Punishment of Torah is education. Now, what's Torah doing? What HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing? Hashem is telling him, see, my dear son, when you didn't keep Shemitah 10 years ago, at that time you sold yourself to Avodah Zarah. This is a consequence of your act. If you would have known that this money, where it came from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you would have done the way that Hashem wants it. But when you feel that I'm doing it, that's my money. If I let it 1 year go, I'm losing so much money. I'm doing it. That's Avodah Zarah. That you're selling yourself Avodah Zarah. A lot of times, education is projecting to a person consequence of his act. That's all for education. As the parents, how are we going to mechanic our children? We tell them consequence of act. Your act has consequence. A great principal said the best day of my being a principal is when there's a long line in front of my office. That's the best day of my life. And the worst day is there's nobody. He said, other principals, this the other way. Why do you say like that? I said, no. When they have a long line in front of me, what happens? I get them and I tell them, your act that you did, you are responsible. Now, when they do things in school, it's a small scale. It's not such a big scale, but they learn consequence. When they go to greater society, they learn when it's the life and death. When the decisions are more crucial, they are ready for that. They are prepared for that. Every home is a small society. Once the children learn at home what's the consequence of act, then there was a book, somebody wrote a book, a mechanic, somebody wrote a book, how to stop rivalry at home. And the Gadol in Israel says, the great Gadol says, you have to trash down this book. Say, why? Say, rivalry at home is very healthy. Say, why? Why is it healthy? It's a suicide times for parents. No, it's very good because rivalry that they have children at home, you teach them how to fight. You teach them to be honest. You teach them if you want something, don't hit him, talk to him. Through teaching children in a small society, you get them ready for the bigger society. Now, once we finish with this, now Torah says, after that, now we are talking about somebody sold himself to Avodah Zarah. Torah says, you are not allowed to make for yourself idols, who pestle and statue, who matzeva and pillar, not of them, don't establish for yourself. and the stone for flooring. Should not give again. To bow down to prostrate on it. Therefore, don't make, not only don't do it, but don't make this you keep my Shabbat, and my sanctuary reverence, and Hashem. Now Rashi says all of these are repetition. We know them. Torah says before. Now Rashi says this is special parasha for somebody who sold himself today for idol. This special parasha comes for him. Why? Because it's a justification in his mind. He says, my rabbi, my master is doing avodah zarah. I do the same. My master is stealing. I do the same. My master doesn't keep Shabbat. I do the same. My master is doing adultery. I do the same. Torah says all of this loving to tell you no. Even though that your master do it, you should not do it. Now the first what's a chidush. He went and he got a master for himself. That the master is doing avodah zarah. Now we could do avodah zarah. What type of business is that? Why should we think that it's mutar? We don't steal his reputation. No, here in Washington said, Torah is bringing out very deep concept in psychology of a person. Very deep concept. And that is as follows. When you are in an environment that there is a master, it's a mastership. That mastership is going to guide your mind. It takes you. It pulls you. It is the mastership. Now, my rabbi, mastership, is doing that. You tell somebody in downtown, why do you steal? Because everybody is doing that. You tell somebody, why are you mechalel Shabbat in your business? You know, downtown is like that. My rabbi. What's the concept of my rabbi? There is a mastership that takes over a mind. If you tell somebody steal, they wouldn't do. If you tell somebody mechalel Shabbat, of course I'm not. I keep Shabbat. But once it happens in downtown, once it happens in society, once society are doing that, in other words, this type of meeting in business, you understand, it's not safe. It's dirty. It's adultery. It's, it takes your window neshama. What are you doing to yourself? No, everybody is doing that. It's mastership. It's part of the business, part of the deal. If you separate that, you would identify that as a dirty thing, as a disgusting thing. But once becomes part of a big program, my master, my rabbi is doing that. It's part of the society. That's the way that society is, then that justifies. Torah is putting out here such an important deep point in psychology of a person. Person should not get back down to that. If in my decrees you go and you do them, I give the rain on the proper time on Shabbat, and I give the land would give it crops, and the etzasodi temperio, and the trees would give its period. Now, if you keep mitzvah, Rashi says even long sarah, even the trees that they don't have fruit becomes fruitful, because the fruit of the trees it's not the nature, it's nurture. You nurture them. How? With Torah mitzvah, and would reach you the season of threshing, but the grape harvesting. In other words, the threshing would continue so far to grape, and the bottle and grape harvesting will reach the sowing. And you're going to eat your well, so you will satisfy. And you're going to dwell in the land securely. We're not that give shalom borders, because if everything there is, there's no shalom, there's nothing. You're going to sit and machale, too frightening. It's not frightening. Everybody understands. When you put your head on the pillow, restful, that's the greatest bracha in life. They Shabti, and I will banish dangerous beasts from your land. The Harev and the land and the sword should not pass through your land. Put up them, and you should pursue Levychaim, and they're going to fall in front of you, not with your own hand. Ratu became, and chase from you 100, and 100 from you 10,000. You're going to pursue. Now, Rashi says the calculation is not right. If 5 does 100, it's 20 times. 100 should be 2,000. Therefore, why is it 10,000? Rashi says, Enodome, it's not similar when little bit people are learning Torah or more people. The more people, the much more zechut is going to be. And they're going to fall in front of you. I will turn my attention to you. Not Baruch Hu is saying that once you keep our mitzvot, I will return my attention to you to take care of you. Whatever that I'm involved in Shamayim, I will leave, and I will take care of you personally. I make you fruitful. I kiss you, and I will establish my covenant with you. And you're going to eat the old of the grain, and the old grain, because of they're going to remove them to make the way for the new ones to come. And I will give my sonship between you, and I'm not going to push you away, my soul, you. I will walk with you, and I will be God for you, and you're going to be my nation. I'm the God that you have understand. From being there as a slave, I broke the staves of your yoke, I take you, commute, standing upright. Therefore, the bracha starts with olive and ends with tav. Now, the Persian say why it starts with olive, commute with tav, because you want bracha. Bracha lies in aleph bet. Where is the aleph bet that bracha is inside? Is Torah. Person wants to get bracha. The bracha comes through aleph bet of Torah. Through learning Torah, a person would be kone the brachot. That's the way to become a brachot. Now, that's one peshut. The other peshut is aleph bet is the order. The greatest bracha in life is the priority of life. Priority, aleph, bet, gimel, dalet. The priority of life is the greatest bracha. Priority of life is first, and the most important thing is a person has to know his dignity. A person has to know there is somebody to get bracha. If somebody feels I'm nobody, I'm nothing, that's the greatest curse in life. No matter how much Torah he learns, how much faith he does, nobody is nothing. First, and the most important thing is I have a dignity, I have a role in Malchut Hashem. Then, second thing is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Third thing is wife. Fourth thing is children, friends, and then business. And the greatest klala in nowadays life is that the business comes before everything. Now, before children, before wife, before Hashem, before honesty, before everything. Person does everything loses everything. Therefore, Torah is saying aleph to tav means the priority of life is very important for bracha. Now, the klala starts with vav and ends up with he. Now, vav means 6, he means 5. Therefore, what's the klala? The klala is going backward. Going backward in life is the klala. Getting from stage of vav to stage of 5, going backward. The bracha is blessing, elevating, and growing. The klala is going backward. Somebody is going backward in life, in Torah, in mitzvot, in elevation, and indulges more and more in gashmut and materialistic. That's the greatest klala in Islam. Now, why vav and he was chosen for backward? Vav is 6, he is 5. Now, Olam Hazeh was created with 5. Rabbi Behar says why Olam Hazeh was created with 5, because we have 5 senses to detect Olam Hazeh. Now, what's vav? Ratak explains that the letter vav in Torah doesn't have any verb. The only verb that we have with vav is vav hachibur. Vav connects. If you have 2 sentences to connect with vav, 2 words with vav, or vave ha'amudin, hooks. Hook means what? Something to connect with. Therefore, the real job of vav is connection. Therefore, the real job of a yid in this world is to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to connect with Chaverim, to connect with everybody. Now, if somebody tells the vav, the purpose of Olam Hazeh, to make connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to he indulges himself to 5 senses of Olam Hazeh and forgets about the vav to connect himself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the greatest klala. The greatest klala is when we turn vav, this connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, connection to Sibur, connection to your wife, connection to your children, and we make it he. What does he mean? He means 5 senses of Olam Hazeh. We indulge with our 5 senses of Olam Hazeh, and we think that is it. There is nothing more than that. There is no values, there is no faith, there is nothing, no elevation, just gathering money, just being in money, and Olam Hazeh luxury, and indulging in taiva and all types of pleasure. That is the klala. Now, Rashi, Torah tells us that the klalot are bases of 7. Now, why base of 7? Because creation is based of 7. There are 7 stages of the Ruchniyot, 7 stages of Tumah. The Gemara says that the Torah has 7 names. Means there are 7 stages of Tumah, 7 stages of Tahara. Now, Rashi explains that the head at the sin for causing the curse are 7 stages sin. And these 7 stages of sin means 7 Quranul. If you do Teshuvah, good. If not, 7. 7. You see in the parasha, all talks about 7. That's 7. Now, what are the 7 sins that cause the Qirara? If you don't listen to me. The first Qirara is not listening, not learning Torah. Not learning Torah is opening a person to the gate of curse. That's the first stage. Once the person doesn't learn, you are not going to do it. If you don't learn, you don't know how to keep Shabbat, you don't know how to keep Pesach, you don't do it. First, not learning. Second, not doing it. If my decrees will consider most disgusting to you. No, what does it mean? Once you don't learn, once you don't do, then you feel bad other people are doing. People that are doing, you discuss other people that are doing. You make fun of them, you mock them. Why? Just to justify yourself. On this earth, people are doing any crazy things. You're not sensitive. You don't do anything to them. Somebody comes and makes netila. Oh, what is he doing? What is he doing? What do you mean, what is he doing? Therefore, what? He's not doing anything. What you are doing, it bothers you. Why does it bother you? Because since you didn't learn, you didn't do, you don't feel justified. You feel that is the vacuum in you. They are doing, I'm not doing it. Then we have to put them down. You discuss them. And my ordinance says, you abhorrent your soul means to say you're going to hate Chachamim. Because you say, who made this laws? Who made this law? Teach people to do this Rabbanim, then you would hate the Rabbanim. That's the fourth one. Then once you agree with Rabbanim, you say it, and then you come along that the mitzvot is a man-made mitzvot. You reject all of the mitzvot. The Avraham, the 7th one is what? Little by little, to nullify my covenant. You're going to deny HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Here are the 7 stages, the road to get to Kelala. Not to learn, you're not going to do. You're going to be moist, you're going to be discussing with others doing that, and then you're going to hate the Chachamim, then you're going to reject the mitzvot, reject HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I also do that to you. I will assign for you 7 things. Alechem Behar, panic. Now, how do I do that? Hashachafeh. Swearing lesions. That's the first thing. In other words, to awaken you with some type of pain is warning pain. That you should understand, you come up to the world to understand there is something more than that indulgence and this. So you understand, appreciate life. With a katachat, burning fever, mechalot enayim, which cause pinning away of the eyes. In other words, you have a sick person, this sick person gets better. And you feel, oh, Baruch Hashem, getting better. Finally he dies. If he's going to die, why didn't Hashem make it better? Because which caused pinning away. Hashem wanted that you should wrong, that he should get better, and he doesn't get better and he dies. No, exactly what you are doing. Exactly what you are doing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created all of the blessings in life to use them to elevate yourself. You use them to indulge yourself. Use them just to get away and away from reality, right values in life. Hashem doesn't like that. And you will sow in vain your seeds. In other words, you plant, nothing comes out. Because life, the burial of HaKadosh is plant. You make it in vain. You are using life for nothing, for zero, for creating hatred, sinat chinam, jealousy, and not improving the world. Therefore, it's not a measure by measure. You're going to plant that, then you see all of the punishment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is education. And I will give my attention to you and you're going to be struck down in front of your enemies, and your enemies would be ruler over you. And you're going to, 7th one, you're going to flee, and there's nobody to chase you. There's nobody to chase you. There's the fear, terror inside. There's the emptiness inside. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, these things that I'm bringing, just warning you. If you don't listen to me, the Midrash says, in this world, you are in the middle of the ocean, drowning. And somebody is throwing string to save us, the rope to save us. No. He says, what are you talking about? What do I want to save myself? Somebody is screaming. Imagine a person in the middle of the ocean is drowning and is trying to save himself. Somebody is throwing a rope to save him. He says, what are you doing? Why are you calling me? I'm trying to save myself. And it's drowning more and more. He's not ready to listen. He's not ready to listen to the rope, to get the rope and save himself. The Midrash says here, sometimes listening one rebuke, listening and paying attention saves the person from drowning. You get the rope and you come to the shore. But if you don't want to take the rope, what happens? You're drowning yourself more and more. You don't listen. I'm sending the rope, you don't listen. What happens in the middle of the ocean with drowning? It becomes worse and worse. 7 on your sins. Why 7? Because 7 stages of the sin as a consequence of 7 punishment. Now, this punishment are there are four terrible punishment that Torah brings. These 4 terrible punishment are coming in order in all one of them. I will break the pride of your mind, and I will make your heaven like iron with and your land like the copper. And I will send you in vain your power. And the land would not give its product, and the tree of the land would not give its fruit. That's 7 punishment. Therefore, the first one was the Ra'av, in other words, that's famine. The second one is Chaya Ra'ah. If you go me with very, what does very mean? Very means with indifference. If you go with indifference. In other words, if you think, before she says the first pshat is very means ordinary. You keep the raw mitzvah ordinary. You don't pay attention. Your heart is not there. Or very from the Rashi of koshi. You mekash lebecha, or your heart to prevent yourself to understand rebuke. Or maybe the student comes and you say that's happened. In other words, it's migrehu. It's not for our techem. You don't want to listen to me. And I will add to you law. 7 like your sins. Again, 7 like your sins. What do I do? I will send you beast of the field. And will breathe you. And I will exterminate livestock. And I diminish you. And become desolate your ways. And that's the chayara. And you say, look, sorry, you don't listen to me. Then I would it would be Cherev and Dever and Rav Shem Mehuma. Right. And you go with me with indifference. And I'll go with you, Bekeri. Bekeri also. What does Bekeri mean? What Rav goes with Bekeri means Hashem removes his supervision. We get it, and I will strike you, and also I, 7 of your sins, and I will bring for you Cherev, sword of Nugemet, avenging Nekam Berit, the vengeance of the covenant, and you're going to be gathered, and you're going to be gathered to your cities, and I will send devil plague among you, and I will give you in the hand of your enemy. When I break for you the staff of bread, the off western Hashim, and 10 women make bread with Tanurecha in one oven, and they return back to them in short way because the bread doesn't come out good. Usually bread will be sold by loaf here, by weight, because all are fallen. When Hakadosh removes his ashkocha, the satisfaction of the food comes from Hashem. Now, once Hashem goes with the keri and removes his ashkocha, with 10 ladies bake bread, and you don't get satisfied. Because the wording about the Baruch is not there. The Baruch Hashem is not there. If it is, you don't listen to me, and you go with me in difference. In other words, you say, oh, it's politics, it happens. Coronavirus happens all over, it's the politics here. But I go with you with the ferry of indifference. Now, what does it mean? In other words, not only I remove my supervision, but with anger. I will make sure that the plagues and things happens to you. And I will discipline you upon it. The God says. Listen to this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you think indifference, you go difference, I did all of these things, you get discipline, you didn't do. Now I got the hamat with the anger, with the feeling of indifference. But still, he says, what does the sarti mean? To discipline you. Even then, it's not to take revenge. Even then, it's not just punishing with the anger. All purpose is to discipline you. It's like a surgery. To do surgery to take out infection. What's the surgery for? To take out the surgery. It's not cut for nothing. It's a cut to take out the infection. You're going to eat the flesh of your children and the flesh of your daughters you're going to eat. Like in Echa, we say that they ate the basar of the children. Now, Chazonish says, eating the basar, flesh of the children, is not a human thing to do. And Torah, eating that is very bad. But Torah is pointing out something very deep. He's saying that when you get away from Torah, you lose humanity. You're not a human being. Now you tell me, where do we find in the history that somebody ate the children, flesh of their children? I tell you, I saw with my own eyes. What's eating? Eating is a tiger. Eating is indulgence. Somebody who indulges himself in greed, somebody who indulges himself in all types of taiva and doesn't care for his wife, he doesn't care for his children. He destroys his children. He destroys his wife. He destroys his family for taiva, for lust, for desire, for indulgence. What is he doing? What is he doing? He's eating the flesh of his children. When the children are small, he should be there to take care of them. He should be there not only to take care of them, indulges himself in greed, in taiva and desire, and he makes a terrible life for the children. It's like eating their flesh. It's like eating them and destroying them. Therefore, that's Chazonish. Without Torah, we live in a civilized country, and we think we are very nice, we are morality we talk about. And we don't understand in the heart of the civilized country and in the heart of being moral, talking about moral and everything, what happens? The greatest crime happens at home. When the parents, they are not dealing properly to each other, they are dealing properly with the children. Because of greed, because of taiva, because of something, they cause divorce, they cause all types of pain for the children. And the mamash, they kill the children. In other words, the Chazal say when there's a divorce, Mizbeach Yored Demaot, Mizbeach cries. Now Chazal say, why Mizbeach altar cries? You know why? Because altar cries only the shecht animal, the slaughtered animal. The Mizbeach cries when they slaughter children. When there is a divorce, slaughtering of children, that he cries because of greed, because of the temptation, because whatever reason is, we make it happen. We have to understand the consequence. I will demolish your buildings and I will destroy the sun idols. They used to have their tall buildings for the sun, to be korban for the sun. And I will be your dead bodies, on the carcass of your idols, and my soul will purge itself of you. I will give your cities into ruin, and I will desolate your mikdashchem. Now, very interesting. Even that Torah talks. Torah says, I desolate your mikdashchem. Your mikdash will destroy your mikdash. Now, Torah could have said, your mikdash will be destroyed, or I destroy your mikdash, or mikdash will be destroyed. What's the difference between them? If Torah would have said mikdash will be destroyed, means after destruction, we don't have mikdash. But Torah didn't say like that. Torah says, Hashimot mikdash. What does Hashimot mikdash mean? Means I will destroy your mikdash. Even at time of destruction, I can maintain the kedusha. The kedusha would be there. I will destroy what? Et mikdash. What remains is the mikdash. Because what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing, Hashem is not destroying the Kedusha. He loves us, he likes us, he wants us to get back to the Kedusha. Still the Kedusha of the Mikdash is there, we are not allowed to go there. The destruction is only on surface, only building got destroyed, not the Kedusha. That love, that inner connection of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Kedusha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Kahal Israel always remains the same. I will not smell your aromas of your pleasings, and I will desolate the land, then desolate upon it will be your enemies. They do it on you. This is Midah Tova. Even the enemies on the other side will be desolated. They would not get full benefit out of it. And you, I will scatter back the nations. But another word, the Zohar HaKadosh says, as long as you have the Tamikdash is source of Kedusha for all the nations. Once we don't have the Tamikdash, every Jew is a Tamikdash. HaKadosh Baruch Hu scatters all of the Jews all over to function as a Tamikdash. And I will unsheath after you the sword, but I say, and your land would be desolate, and your land would be, your cities would be ruined. Then God Hashem would appease himself with the Shabbatah, with the rest of the land. All of the years of the desolation, and you are in the land of your enemies. Then the land would rest, where he saw the Shabbatah, and will appease its rest. No, what he's saying like when you were in Israel, you didn't rest on Shemitah, and you worked on the Shemitah. No, the 70 years of the God of Babel are the 70 years that they had, Rashi makes the cheshbon, 7 years that they had to rest the land. They didn't rest the land when they were in their Israel. No, when they're out of their country, the land would rest, and that was what happens to HaKadosh. All of the days of desolation, Tishbot, it will rest. Of the whatever that you didn't rest, in your Shabbos, when dwelling on it, and those who remain from that, I will bring weakness in their heart, in the land of their enemies, and would pursue them for a sound of a leaf, nidav, rustling, the sound of a rustling leaf, and they're gonna flee away like fleeing from a sword. We're not flying, they're gonna fall down there, or nobody's chasing after them. They're gonna fall down. In other words, they're gonna die from them. And they will stumble one where the others one from as if before the sword. In other words, very interesting. They feel they will stumble one to the brothers. In other words, they want to stumble one brother, and then one kills the other one in running away, as if they're running away from the sword, but there's no sword. Nobody's purchasing them. Nobody is pursuing them. Nobody's chasing after them. But they run away from each other, and once they are running away, they stumble on each other and they kill each other. And you are not going to be standing. Power to stand in front of your enemies. And you're going to be destroying the nations. Devour you, the land of your enemies. Those who remain from you, they were deteriorated with their iniquity, but also the rain in the lands of their enemies. The Af and also the Avrot of Tom, the forefathers, the Tom with them. In other words, the Avon of the forefathers with the person, as long as the person doesn't do Shuvah. If a person repeats and continues the sins of the forefathers, it becomes a stronger punishment. Now, after that, they confess their sins, the sins of the forefathers, in the betraying that they betrayed me, and also they went with me with indifference. And also I will go with them and will bring them the enemies. Or maybe, or if then will humble their heart, unyielding heart, and then will take atonement for their sins. And I will remember my covenant, Yaakov, also the covenant of Yitzchak, and the covenant of Avraham. I will remember Behar is called, and the land I will remember. Now, here's what I said. Now, why it says Yaakov first? Always you say Avraham first. It says Yaakov, your Parashat Bechukotai, Perek Chavav, Pasuk Membet. Parashat Bechukotai, Perek Chafah, Perek 26, Pasuk Membet. But I will remember everything. Let's say Yaakov first, Yitzchak. In other words, Rashi says, Baruch says, your Yaakov, your youngest forefather is Kedai, is befitted to save everyone. If he does that, it's good. If not, then we go to Yitzchak. If Yitzchak is good, no. It's not, we go to Avraham. The order is like that to point out that even Yaakov is good enough. Not we're going to go to Yitzchak. Now, Yaakov is written with Vav. There's extra Vav by Yaakov. Now, why there is extra Vav by Yaakov? Rashi says, in Tanakh, we find out Yaakov with extra Vav 5 times. And we find Eliyahu without Vav 5 times. In other words, 5, Eliyahu has Vav, Yaakov doesn't have Vav. 5 times Eliyahu is without Vav, Eliyahu gave his Vav to Yaakov. 5 times of Vav. The word Yaakov is written 5 times with Vav, Eliyahu without Vav. Now what's Pshat? Rashi says, because Yaakov Eliyahu is responsible to come and give good news of Mashiach. Now Yaakov Avinu is our good father. What does a good father do? He takes the security for his children. He tells Eliyahu, I get one of your letter of your name, Vav, 5 times I get Vav, one of letters of your name as a security that you're gonna bring the Geula. I make sure that you're gonna bring it as a security. I hold on into your Vav. Now, first you say, what's Pshat? Now, the Vav is like a finger. 5 Vav is like a hand. Hand shaking with Yaakov made hand shaking with Eliyahu to bring the Geula. Now, what's the point of that? Hakadosh Baruch Hu wants to see the handshake on the Geula already happened. So what is preventing? What is it? What is it? Let's go. What is it? What is preventing? Let's see it. Therefore, everything is ready. Everything is set to go. You know, for example, the best example of that is, let's say that your wife wants to go to park, wants to go someplace, and you don't want really to go, okay? You come home, say, the wife says that, let's go. Say, oh, this is ready. Say, yes, I didn't make it that. Is he coming? This person is coming. Always you come with the excuses. This is ready, that is ready. So says, yes, everything is ready. But still, you are not ready to go. You are making another excuse. Now, what's the problem? What's the problem? The problem is not that this is not ready, that's not ready. You are not ready. Here, Torah is saying that the Geula is set to go. Handshake happened already. Everything is there. The only thing that we need is that you fix up yourself, make yourself ready. Everything is there. We just need you to move and to bring it. That's the point. Hashem says, I remember, Yaakov, everything is there. The handshake was done with Eliyahu Hanavi. And you know that the promise was done. That's the Vav. Now, why letter Vav? Why letter Vav? Letter Vav is the better of Chibur. Chibur means connection. If you want Geula, you have to be connected together. You have to be unified together. Vav is Vav Chibur. Radak says there is no verb in Hebrew starts with Vav. Because Vav, job, and Tichuna of this letter, the essence of this letter is connection. 2 words we connect with Vav. Now, the Geula comes with Vav Chibur. We have to connect ourselves and connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Being individual and living as an individual can bring the Geula. Geula comes with Vav. Now, everything is set to go. Now, the Apostle says, Zocharti for Yaakov and Zocharti for Avraham, but this is Zocharti for Yitzchak. Rashi says, why this is Zocharti for Yitzchak? It says Zocharti for Yaakov. If this is Avraham, it's good. Not for Yitzchak. Why? Because the ashes of Yitzchak is Muchan Lepanan. For Yitzchak, we don't need Zechira. Because the ashes is there all the time. Again, the ashes of the Agadat is thought that is devotion to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there. You know, somebody who devotes to Hashem and with full devotion, that's something stays there all the time in front of Yisrael. This is the zechut and merit of devotion to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like Agadat Yitzchak. And that stays there, we don't need Zechira. Therefore, everything is set to go. We just need to make ourselves ready. Behar is to ourselves, and the land would be abundant. Mehem from there, the Tes Shabbatah, and it would appease the Shabbatah, Bahashama Mehem. Mehem Yisru Tabonom, Ya'an, and they're going to be atonement for their needs. Ya'an, because, and indeed because, the Mishpatai was what's all of this? Because my judgment, Ma'asu, they discussed it, Bechukotai, my decrees, go Allah nafsham. Abhorrent their soul, and also when they are in the land of the enemies, I'm not going to discuss them, and I'm not going to abhorrent them, to destroy them, to annul my covenant with them. And I'm not their God. But here comes, and the priest I will remember for them the covenant of the Rishonim first, that I took them around Suzayim, then they are going to answer the way, Hashem for them. These are Hukim and Torah, I say Torah double, Torah Shebichta, Torah Shebachte, that I gave them Beno Ben Israel, Behar Sinai, Yad Moshe, in the hand of Moshe. They were all of the Kralot, and Tzav with the unbelievable pasuk. Anything could happen to Har Israel. The Har Israel could go through all this suffering, 49 Kralot. 49 Kralot was said in the Sipasha, 49, and the other word, 49, Sha'arei Bina. Every Kralot and Kralot brings us to understanding. It's not revenging. Now, to understand God, at the end of the day, what stays is Torah Mitzvot. What's the remedy of the Kralot? Is Torah Mitzvot. You have to speak Torah Mitzvot. You have to get up and to go and to keep Torah Mitzvot. In other words, when Rabbi Pincus and his wife and his daughter was burned in a car and destroyed, the father gave a hesped. And the hesped, the father said, very interesting point. The father said, in learning, it's a great time with Avraham. He said, in learning, sometimes we learn Torah and we have a question in the Tosfot or Rashi, someplace, and whatever that we find, we cannot find any answer. There's no answer for it. We don't find any answer. Now what do we do? Some people could stay wondering for the rest of their life and they don't move, they do anything. No, the derech of Torah is, okay, we have a good question, good things, but we move. Life is moving through Torah. Moving at the end of the Quran it says, these are the keys which brought him Torah. We move in Torah. And there's other shame. Would open our eyes. The purpose of life is not to be wandered. The purpose of life is to move. Get more and more and more from one page to another page, from halach to another halach. We move into life. Now, what should come after the parasha of Kollel? What's the best parasha to come after the Kollel? Listen to Rashi. When a person pronounces a neder, a vow, there is kecha. Regarding your valuation, the fashot soul Hashem. Somebody says the valuation of soul on me, I want to bring it for Betamikdash. I want to bring it for Torah. Now, after all of this Kollel that you think that the nefashot got destroyed, maybe you think that the nefashot of the Har Israel means nothing for Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem says no. There is the valuation for every soul and for every nefesh. Now, what valuation is doesn't depend on the job. If it's the greatest Rosh Hashiva and the garbage man, the same valuation. Why? Because the fact that you have a soul of a Jew, there is a valuation for you as being a Jew, as being a neshama of a Yid. That's the valuation of you. And that comes right after Kollel. Tell us, all of us, we are worth very much for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are precious in the eyes of Hashem. And should be your valuation, Zachar, May, from 20 years till 60, on the valuation 50 shekel of gold, silver, whatever. And if it's a female, like 30, and then from the 5-year-old till 20, the valuation for male would be 20, and for female would be 10, and from one month till 5 years, the valuation for male would be 5, and for female would be 3, and from 60 and up, from male would be the valuation 15, and for nekeba would be 10. And if he's too poor from the valuation, and then he should stand. He should stand him before Kohen from the Kohen and evaluate him Kohen according to whatever that Tasiyadi could reach is the wower the Arichenu evaluate Kohen for him and he prays. If they say the Korban that bring Korban for Hashem, whatever that they give for Hashem should be for Hashem. In other words, there is a Korban. Somebody said that his feet should be Olah, it's Chad. The food would be cholah. What do? We sell him, and with the amount of the money of the food, the regel, we buy olah and we are not allowed to exchange it. and you're not substitute. Tov vera, good with bad, and bad with good. And if you exchange behema, him and the teruma they exchange, both will be kadosh. There's this in Torah when you make something kadosh to come exchange it. Now from bad to tov, from good. Now from good to bad, of course you shouldn't do it. What about from bad to good? Why shouldn't you exchange from bad to good? Let's say from bad to good, it's good. Rambam says unbelievable psychology in life in the way that we deal with offers with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rambam says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, even bad with good you shouldn't change. Why not? Bad with good. You made something Kadosh is bad, now you want to get something good, that's it. Rambam says no. Whenever you decide and you are committed to make an offer for Hashem, don't change it. Stay like that. Why? Because starting change is the advice of Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara says first it gives you pride. So change from bad to good. But later on, sure enough, it makes you change from good to bad. That's going to happen. Rambam says when you have a confirmed mind, you decided you want to offer something to Hashem, stay with whatever that you did. Don't change it. Because once you start changing, sure enough, the Yetzer would bribe you from bad to good, but then becomes from good to bad. They call Behemah Tema. All of the Behemah Tema. Behemah Tema means tummy. If somebody is makdish, a behemah as a blemish and cannot be brought over. Which one? You cannot bring it when not one Hashem. Behemah, you should stand the behemah in front of Kohen and evaluate Kohen or the bento, whether it's good or it's bad. According to the evaluation, should be then go, and if he wants to redeem it, he has to add 1/5 on the evaluation. No, what about somebody's makdish's house, Kodesh Hashem? He says, my house Kodesh Hashem, the Kohen comes, whether it's good or whether it's bad, and he would evaluate that Kohen and then would establish. And if he wants to redeem it, always when he wants to redeem something, he has to pay 1/5 the evaluation and should be for him. Now, what about somebody says, now, we have two types of fear. 1/5 of Sachudat, inheritance that he got. Somebody says, my son, my field should be Kodesh Hashem. All of his business Kodesh Hashem. No, we're going to evaluate that according to seeding. How much could be planted there? In other words, it doesn't matter the land is qualified, not qualified. The amount of the area of the land that we could plant a chomer sorim. In other words, 130 gallons of seor on barley could be planted in 300,000 square feet. 300,000 square feet, 130 gallons would be 50 shekel, 50 silver coin. In from the years of the Yovel Yadesh, would be 50. After Yovel, we made it Kadosh, and the Kohen comes and he would calculate the money according to the years of the remainder from the Yovel, and he would reduce from the price of it. And if he wants to redeem the study, the one who consecrated, he has to pay 1/5 on it, and it would be for him. If he doesn't want to redeem it, and he sold the study list after on the guy wrote, he would not be redeemed anymore. When the study comes out from the Yodesh, goes to the Acherem, it could be Kohen, because that was the study of inheritance. When you make it Kodesh, it's Kodesh forever. Then it goes back to the Kohanim. Now, what about if study that you bought that really doesn't belong to you? The study you bought it in Yovel. Yovel goes back to the real owner. And that's not from his study of inheritance, Kodesh Hashem. He would calculate the Kohen amount of the evaluation till Yovel, and he would give the evaluation Kodesh Hashem. Bishad Yovel goes back to study the one that he bought it from. Because that's the inheritance of his land. All of the evaluation which Shekel Kodesh, 20 Gera Shekel, only Behar, in other words, the firstborn that's born, actually look at that it is born first, Hashem the Behemah, und the Behemah, we have the Shito. You don't have to start consecrated it. Him show himself, because when it's born, by the birth is Kadosh, Behar is Kadosh. Now, if the Behemah Temah, if somebody is Makdish Behemah Temah, who part of the Behemah, you redeem it, first another Behemah, you have to redeem it, he has to put 1/5 in it, and if you don't know the name, it should be sold according to Avraham. What's Cherem means? Cherem means concentrated property. Now, concentrated property is machloket, whether it belongs to Hekdesh or belongs to Kohanim. Actually, Yachad Hashem, whatever that's from Adam, Abraham, fields out of it should not be sold, should not be redeemed. That going to Kohen. Now, if somebody is going to die, somebody said, this person for me. Now, over there, he doesn't have to pay anything. Because the person put to birth, but somebody is about to be put to death, there is no worth into him. If he says the cherem of this person on me, he doesn't have to pay anything. Now we are talking about Meiser Sheni, that he has to be taken to Yerushalayim, Meiser Mizera from the seed Aretz, and from the Tiroshan, so from the wine and olives, La Hashem, Kodesh Hashem. Kodesh Hashem is belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now the word HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the budget in person's life, Meiser Sheni, that this Meiser should be spent to take the family to Yerushalayim. Again, money for education. Every family is obligated to put some money for education, just like the Meiser Sheni. Meiser Sheni, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to put it away, and they go to Yerushalayim and they spend the money. What happens when they go to Yerushalayim? The children, the family sees Yerushalayim, see the Tamikdash, and that educates them. Concept of Meiser Sheni is very important. Therefore, you have to put some money for education, to buy sefarim, to get babysitter your wife to go to shiur, to make them to send them to some place to educate them. A lot of times there is a shiur and there is no babysitter, pay $50. Put some money for education. You want to buy a book, it's very worthwhile book. Now this sefer costs $70, $80. Say, oh, $80 I should pay for this book. This book will change your wife's perspective on chinuch, your wife's taking life. So if you have a special budget for that, it wouldn't be so hard. You pay and you do it. But if you have to take money from your principal, you wouldn't do it. Therefore, Meiser Sheni says, put special budget for education. And any education that happens at home for your children, for grandchildren, do it. Use that money for, and that money would be, that's Meiser Sheni, the concept of Meiser Sheni here. And if you want to redeem from Meiser, you have to put 1/5 on. No, we have another halacha of Meiser. If you have 10 cattle, every year the cattle should remove, and you made them online, and they remove them from under the stick, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10th one, you put the red mark on it. That's Kodesh Hashem. It's very interesting. You cannot choose. Here, it's a very interesting gift. Usually when we give a gift, we make the best choice. Here, there's not your choice. You put them online and they come, and the 10th one you put. No, it could be blemished or could be one of them, whatever that is, Kodesh. And Meiser doesn't go to Kohen. You shecht and need it yourself. All of the Meiser of Behar, cow, and so on. The 10th one, Kodesh Hashem, could be Kodesh Hashem. In other words, you cannot distinguish between good and bad, and you should not exchange it. If you exchange it, it should be, if you are exchanging what's going to happen, that in itself and the other one, both would be Kadosh Rigai, not everything. So it's very interesting that, in other words, this halacha of Meiser, that this becomes Kadosh, part of your money becomes Kadosh through the random. In other words, it has to go through, usually the korbanot, you choose the best and you give it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says here, 1, 2, 3, 10th. 10th becomes Kadosh. No, there is an idea here. What's the idea? Idea here is that you could pick what you give to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But at the end of the day, listen to this psychology. Such a deep psychology finishes up the Sefer Vayikra with this. In other words, we finish Sefer Vayikra with this concept. We come to Meiser. In other words, you choose to give, right? All of the korbanot that we give to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, really, we are not giving to Hashem to say that we give it to you. It's the indication that really doesn't belong to us. It belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yes? Now, imagine you choose whatever that you want to give to Hashem. Then what happens? You playing a role here. You are choosing. Therefore, that was my choice for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Still, you feel some part that you did something. In other words, imagine you have to choose to divide the brachot or something, or to divide something in the family. Somebody else does it. Well, anyway, it would be given to others. Who cares who does it? No. When I'm authorized to do, I feel good about it. I feel that I was in charge. I made it to happen. I gave this to him. I gave. No, here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, at the end of the Sefer Vayikra, you give some korban to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that you don't choose. It's not your choice. It happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 goes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the best indicator that you don't own anything. Everything belongs to Hashem. You didn't choose that. That came out, and that goes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's Kadosh. It's Kadosh without your interference. You didn't interfere in that, that became Kadosh. That becomes Ma'aseh. These are the mitzvot that Hashem commanded Moshe ben Israel, the Har Sinai, in the Mount of Sinai. Now, the last mitzvah in the Sefer Vayikra, Sefer Vayikra is correspondence. The last mitzvah is Ma'aseh. Ma'aseh is Kadosh, and you are not allowed to change it. The Midrash says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is announcing Sefer Vayikra called Behar Israel. And the Har Israel are my Ma'aseh. Just like Ma'aseh is also to change it, I don't change Behar Israel. Behar Israel stays forever for me. Behar Israel is the Ma'aseh of my creation. Just like Ma'aseh is the indication of everything is Kadosh, Behar Israel are the Ma'aseh of my creation. And the Har Sinai, in the Mount of Sinai, the Sefer Vayikra finishes the word of Sinai, because Vayikra is correspondence. All of our correspondence with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on Har Sinai. Everything comes from Har Sinai. All of the Torah mitzvot comes from Sinai, from the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu connected with us in Har Sinai. Everything that we have, all of the connection, everything is from Har Sinai. Therefore, this parashah we learned before Matan Torah, before Shavuot, to indicate that Tichle Shana Bechukotai. Instead of Hashem, we're going to learn the parashah and it will be finished. Now, what does Tichle Shana mean? Finishing the year and it's cursed. But the year doesn't finish. It's the Matan Torah, it's not the beginning of the year. But Matan Torah is the new period, renewal of Zaman. Instead of Hashem, through reading the parashah, with the renewal of the Zaman of happiness and joy for all the Israel, especially if we are from Dami and whatever that happened in Israel. Hashem should help us that we should hear the Surah to good and everything should go well with all the Israel, wherever that they are. Hashem should be with them and watch over everybody in the Har Israel.
Hello, Rabbi.
Wow.
Hello, Rabbi. Can you hear me?